All right, it's time to pick the 1993 Oscars. These are movies that came out in 1992. I always, in my revisionism, use this website, atogt.com, for the eligible list of nominees. If I were back in 92, what would I have picked? But then again, there's a bunch of movies that aren't eligible, so I might cheat a little bit. And so when you look at this list, what would you have picked? The original Best Picture nominees have had 5 back then: Unforgiven, Clint Eastwood, The Crying Game, A Few Good Men, Howard's End, and Scent of a Woman. As usual with the Best Director, they only switch up. No, they didn't switch up any of them. They're all the same movies in the Best Picture and the Best Director. It's like an overlap almost every single year. Now, for me to revise this list, it is a total mess. I'm going to warn you, if you look up what years and dates movies came out on the internet, it is a mess because some of them are dated according to festivals, but then 2 years after they came out in festivals, they're eligible for Oscar winners. I had several movies I wanted to vote for this year or put up as nominees, but they're actually eligible the next year, even though Letterboxd, IMDb, everything says they came out this year. So just beware. I have to use this site, ATOGT, otherwise I get completely lost date-wise in what is actually eligible for this year and what might be eligible in future years. I must say, because of that problem, there aren't a lot of good nominees for this year. Not a lot of great movies. I think that's reserved for the next year and the year after this, 93, 94. There are a lot of movies I could possibly recommend to you, or most of you, and here's my list. You get the list of my tentative list of nominees I'm going to pick from to whittle it down to 5 Best Picture nominees, and then the noteworthy list just outside of the nominee list. This is a real hard one because I see some of those in the noteworthy list I might actually want to bump up. You know, Jim Jarmusch's Night on Earth. I really like that movie. Siskel and Ebert turned me on to One False Move, a good sort of noir, modern noir, racial thriller that I think is pretty good. It's in the Criterion Collection. I do actually like Patriot Games a lot. Deep Cover, that probably should be up there in the nominee list. I'm going to throw that up there. Another good one that has been found or recovered, a noir movie. And to me, there's a lot of good, just straightforward Hollywood movies. I am a defender of Alien 3, the director's cut. Okay, so David Fincher's first movie, director's cut is pretty good to me. I like the scenario, the prison, aliens in a prison. Okay, so just sue me for liking this movie, but I actually like it against most people who don't. I'm a proponent of A Few Good Men. I made a video on that movie. I should probably bump that up as well, but Hollywood overvalued it, I think, putting it in the top 5 the Best Picture nominee list at the time of release. Lessons of Darkness is Werner Herzog's great sort of hour-long documentary on the oil field fires for the first Gulf War in the early 1990s. I think Porco Rosso is really this year, but maybe not. I need to check future years because some of the times these Studio Ghibli movies, they are not eligible several years in the future. So this Porco Rosso might be eligible in 1995 for all I know. Let's go check it out. But I think it's a worthy movie to mention at this point. So here you go, my list of my draft of nominees. I'm going to pick 5 from these. I go through these. A Tale of Winter, Eric Romer. You know, I looked at the list. Actually, A Tale of Springtime is the one that's eligible. And then that you'll see that came out in 1990. Now it's eligible for the 93 Oscars. I'm so confused. So maybe I should put Tale of Springtime here. But Tale of Winter came out in 1992, so it should be eligible. Whatever, it's worth checking out. And Life Goes On is the second movie in what would become Abbas Kiarostami's The Coker Trilogy. It's got a different name, but it's escaping me right now. I think it's Life and Nothing More. I am hypnotized by this movie. I think it's an amazing postmodernist, wonderful postmodernist humanist movie about a director in search of an actor he saw in a movie, which was the first movie, Where's My Friend's House, in the Coker Trilogy, and it's the aftermath of a terrible Iranian earthquake in 1990. This movie is one of my favorites of all time. I already said I love Deep Cover. Howard's End, I'm putting up here for my wife. She loves this movie. I watch it with her. It's really good. It's kind of fun. Malcolm X by Spike Lee. I think this is his masterpiece, although you could say Do the Right Thing is, but I think this is a hard movie to pull off. Autobiography of a controversial American figure, obviously Malcolm X. Sprawling 3 hours. And what do you say about, we'll say more about it later on. Check out A Place in the World, a generic title, but I love this movie from Argentina, Uruguay. It was dismissed on a technicality. It was up for the Best Foreign Language Oscar picture, but they disqualified it for stupid reasons. And then it wasn't filmed enough in Uruguay, even though it was a Uruguayan nominee. Okay, but this is a really wonderful adult movie about adults with problems and no real villain, and a boy looking at 4 different adults in his life in Argentina. I think in the 1970s, it's a coming-of-age movie. really, really good. Check out my review on Letterboxd. And then the bottom of this list, two old timers, Robert Altman with The Player. To me, this is his comeback. I covered the 1980s, and Altman did not show up very much in my 1980s Oscar reviews. Here he is with The Player, a really, really wonderful insider baseball movie about Hollywood, which you can tell he absolutely loves movies. He even loves making movies, but he's a little annoyed, a lot annoyed with the bureaucracy of Hollywood. It's a wonderful movie in every single way. And then, of course, the actual Best Picture winner, Unforgiven by Clint Eastwood. I covered that on my channel. I do really like this Western. All right, now here are my 5 Best Picture nominees. The question is, what would you have picked as the 5 nominees? I think we could do better than, this is typical, do better than original Hollywood list. I did pick 2 that were in the original list, Howard's End and Unforgiven. I think I could swap Howard's End out for anything. Probably, I don't know, Place in the World, something like that. So The Player, for sure. So that pick is swappable. The 4 movies I really like, And Life Goes On, I talked about that. Deep Cover is a discovery for me in the last couple years. It's a great noir. Never heard of it at the time. It wasn't playing on TV, so I didn't hear about it until Criterion released it. Bill Duke is a director. He was an actor back then, and Predator, for example, as his director. It might be his feature debut. Has a fantastic eye, fantastic ear. I wish he would have directed more movies, but this is an excellent movie. To me, this is better than One False Move, okay? So you got those 2 movies to play with and look at if you want to look at, similar movies in the same universe. Malcolm X, Spike Lee's biopic. I have no freaking clue why this wasn't nominated in the original Best Picture nominees, except maybe it was Lee's politics or something he did or said to somebody. I have no idea. I can't remember the original context. I could go look it up. I don't care. Malcolm X should have been here. It's way better than The Son of a Woman. Come on. And Unforgiven. So of these 5, which one am I going to pick? This is tough. I actually am tempted to go along with Unforgiven. You know, it's not bad. It's good. You could rewatch it. I think it's eminently, I don't know, applicable to a number of contexts. In the future, people will watch it. So Clint Eastwood did probably his best movie, one of his best. Fantastic job here. And Life Goes On is, I really should pick that because I think that's the best movie cinematically. I can learn the most from it, be most inspired by it myself. So it's not eligible. Sometimes I cheat here. Don't know if I will or not, but I'm going to pick.
And the Oscar for the Best Picture of 1992 goes to
Malcolm X. Malcolm X is one of my favorite movies, period. Okay, so as a biopic, it's supreme. I don't know how much, well, I kind of do, but I don't think you have to see it as related to the real life tale of Malcolm X. It's like Amadeus. You know, it's kind of about this historical figure, but maybe about other things too. Actually, a lot of other things, which Spike Lee appends to the end of his movie, if you want to check that out. I really like the reworking, the revisionism of this movie for the early 1990s context. I think Denzel Washington is perfect here in this role. 3 hours goes by like 20 minutes to me. I've seen this movie many times, and I have no problem saying this is a statement about some part of America at some time in America, the most important nation culturally in the 20th century. I know people don't like to hear that, but that's just a fact of life, whether you like it or not. And here's a key figure in it, with his autobiography being a key literary work. So Malcolm X, the movie really, really is spectacular in every way. I love the arc of the character. Just check out my video on it if you want to hear more about this. But that is my pick for Best Picture for the 1993 Oscars movies, 1992. What would you pick out of the list? What are your Best Picture nominees, your Best Picture winner? I'm sure we'll have a wide variety here. I will admit there's a few movies like The Quince Tree Sun, which made the Sight and Sound poll, BFI, British Film Institute poll. I couldn't find it. It's hard for me to locate a couple of these movies. Fishing with John is on the Criterion Channel, but that's a TV series. So there's a few movies I'm thinking of, even the 35 up, like the Up Tales. I'm not sure. The research said I should watch 2 or 3 more movies, but I didn't. So I could be missing something that you find fascinating or should be worthy of mentioning, or even could be Best Picture. That's a wrap for the 93 Oscars. I'm going to tell you the 94 Oscars and 95 definitely are going to be a lot better, although you can call from this list and get several good recommendations from the various lists I had in this video. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Please subscribe to this channel for more awesome content. See you later.